Good morning. This is the Verbal Nonsense Podcast. I'm Joel.
And I'm Todd. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's the show. That's the one. No,
All right.
it
Hurry
took me
up.
a little time to get ready this morning. I got on Reddit to just recap my memory of what I was going to talk about this week, and then I passed upon somebody griping about the Mandalorian on Reddit, and of course I had to chime in because I have a lot of gripes. But there was one guy who was like, "Boy, I sure hope they don't put Boba Fett in there as fan service," and I'm like, "He's dead. Even in the show, he's dead." And then I realized that's not above Disney to do that. I was like,
Yeah, but there's a big difference between bringing a Sith Lord back from the dead and bringing a normal bounty hunter.
"That's
Unless
true.
they cloned him. I mean,
He's a
that's entirely possible.
well, yeah, he is a clone, so
Yep.
that's possible." Oh, I want
I mean, he wouldn't
royalties.
have Boba Fett's memories, but
You sure?
if he's cloned, yeah.
I don't
If they
know.
clone him from the tissue, he's going to be regrown. I mean,
Hey, we
you
don't
want
know
him.
that. We don't know that.
Okay, by Star Wars lore, unless Disney decides to ignore it.
They do. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, no. I was just, and then of course they were talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and they're like, "I hope they don't screw that up." And of course, I cracked open my keyboard hard and said they already screwed it up by making it a series and not the movie they promised. So that's my 2 cents.
Wah.
Yeah. I'm gonna hop right. I'll be more like Yaroslav Suris of New York. He's a deaf guy suing Pornhub. Have you heard about this?
No.
So, this guy is oh, my camera. There's some cuts. All right, now hopping right into it. Yeah, I'm gonna try it again. Yaroslav Suris. He's suing Pornhub for the lack of clips. I don't know. Lack of videos for the hearing impaired. Um, he says that how can he follow the exchange of paying the pizza guy, or how on earth does the cable repairman show up to repair the cable? And then next thing you know, this is going on. He says it's very chaotic. He has no idea what's happening. And he doesn't think that's right. Uh,
Oh my
he
goodness,
cites
dude.
that there are less than 400 videos on the website that feature closed captions. And,
If you're worried about what they're saying, maybe you're there for the wrong reasons.
well, I mean, uh, he actually wants to pay for the premium service, but he says there's just not enough content for him to justify the monthly fee.
Again, if you're there for to hear what they're saying, maybe you're there for the wrong reasons. Maybe the storyline, the role playing is that important to him. I don't
It
know,
might be.
but
He might be old
maybe.
school. I don't know. It's, you know, I don't know personally, but he used to put storylines in those, from what I understand. I watched a documentary on, of course, like Deep Throat and some of those early ones from the late 70s, early 80s, and they were more like actual movies. The Deuce on HBO. Have you watched that show at all? It basically talks about the transition of New York's film scene going from, you know, street walking prostitutes entering basically the newly formed pornography. It's actually a good show, kind of. It's a little rough around the edges, like all the edges. It's kind of like a tumbleweed, really. It's like you want to stop it, but you don't want to touch it. But
it's kind of like the flu. You want to stop it, but you don't want to go near it.
yeah, you don't want to go near it. It's just kind of like, this is interesting, but not really. Maggie Gyllenhaal's in it, and it's really good. What's his name? I can't ever remember that guy's name. He one of the guys in Seth Rogen's movies all the time. He was on in 127 hours. He played the Wizard of Oz in that last Wizard of Oz movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Franco.
yeah, James Franco. James Franco is also in that show. He also plays his own brother. Um, the problem I'm having with that, there's 2 seasons so far from what I remember. I've watched them both. James Franco plays his brother as well as he plays like
Twins.
he plays twins. Okay. But the costume designer didn't do much to say this is this guy's style, this is that guy's style. Typically when you have identical twins in shows like this, they dress differently. They have different features that kind of distinguish one from the other. Not in this one.
Unless they're going for a creepy aspect.
They don't have any, real manner. They have like different vices. Like the other brother has like, I don't know which one's which. So, but one of them like is a degenerate gambler and likes to spend money. But in all reality, from scene to scene, I can't tell which one's which. So as far as that part of the story, I have no idea what's going on. Kind of like this lawsuit. This is technically Yaroslav Suris's 8th lawsuit in the last year, pegging different people. So this might just be a money grab for him, not so much of I need quality closed captionings on my pornographic viewing delights.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
As soon as you brought it up, that's what my guess was. But maybe I'm just a cynic.
Oh, no. That's... Hey, man, if you can't create Google, you might as well sue them.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know. Kind of like how I'm going to sue Disney Plus if they continue to destroy my fantasies of getting a new Star Wars movie every year. They've done a good job so far.
Well, from what I understand, all the Star Wars movies you'll be getting will be side stories now.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Branch
that.
out.
I'm fine with that. Solo and Rogue One were great.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Watch this. This'll work this time. I wish they'd quit rehashing characters from Game of Thrones, though. I really do. What's her name? I don't know. Game of Thrones was a great series. I loved it. Not really. There, out of the hundreds of characters that were in the show, there might be 5 actually genuinely good actors. The rest of them were trash. Especially Daenerys. She was terrible. I could not stand her. And that's it. Yep, that's all I got on suing Pornhub. I don't know.
Well, speaking of courts, this story I have, I had already seen it, but Matt Boyer also sent it to me.
Oh, goodness gracious. He sent me some stuff too that I'm not even remotely talking about today.
Kansas man requested that the Iowa judge grant him trial by combat so he can engage a sword fight with his ex-wife and her attorney.
Yeah, for sure. I want the same thing now.
I bet you do.
Too.
David Oster, 40, of Kansas, said his ex-wife, Bridget, and Harlan, her attorney, Matthew Hudson, have destroyed him legally, according to a January 3rd court filing. He asked the Iowa District Court to give him 12 weeks to find Katana and Wakizashi swords for his requested battle, per the Carroll Times-Herald, which first reported the request. Of course, he stated that to this day, trial by combat has never been explicitly banned or restricted as a right in the United States. He said it was used as recently as in 1818 in British court.
Yes, 202 years ago, this was okay, and you haven't banned it since. So, I wonder, like, 12 weeks to find swords?
Maybe for both parties, because
Oh.
there's 3 people involved. He also wants to battle the lawyer.
So it's going to be a 2v1? Is that what's
Now,
going to happen
apparently.
there? He's that confident in his sword combat skills?
David Ostrom said his motion also stemmed from frustration with Hudson, who argued that because a duel could end in death, such ramifications likely outweigh those of property tax and custody issues. He said it should be noted that just because the U.S. and Iowa constitutions do not specifically prohibit battling another person with a deadly katana sword, it does prohibit a court sitting in equity from ordering same.
So he's not going to get, I don't know. There's way too much justice to be had in a trial by combat.
So in a reverse motion, his ex-wife's lawyer has filed for a court-ordered psychological evaluation.
Really?
Yep.
Just because he wants to have a sword fight means he's crazy? He's citing historical facts from 200 years ago to justify his current means.
Judge Craig Dressmer said Monday at a court filing he won't issue a decision anytime soon, citing irregularities with both sides' motions and responses.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Could you imagine being his lawyer going up to suggest this?
I'm kind of getting the feeling this man's filing his own motions.
You think? I like
Yeah,
I like to think he's paying this lawyer of his a lot of money to go forward and waste everyone's time. It's
Well,
like,
part of it is that he's say that he's just destroyed him legally. I'm
okay.
guessing that he's broke. He's completely out of money. So he's probably representing himself at this point.
All right, I could feel that. Yeah, I could see that. I would destroyed him legally. I mean, he states legally and financially. How are you destroyed legally, unless you like business for yourself, or I don't know. I don't know, unless you're, goodness gracious, I'm trying to think. O.J. Simpson, I don't know, he was destroyed legally. I'm curious on what kind of case they had. I can't sit still today.
It looks like you're having one of my problems today.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I can't get comfortable. I don't know. Destroyed legally. I don't think it'd take me 12 weeks to find swords, though.
Maybe it's going to take them 12 weeks to get the money up to buy 3 katanas and 3 wakizashis.
I don't know. They got kids. Just pawn their stuff and buy your swords at the same pawn shop. I mean, this guy's insane. He might as well. He's just like, hey, look, you guys are going to lose your Xbox and stuff, but it's for the greater good. You know.
Gonna take out your mom.
Like, you should come. Cool sword fight in the town square today. Where would you hold such a fight?
The courthouse.
That would be in the courthouse?
Oh, yeah. Why not? That'd be amazing. Or maybe out in front of the courthouse.
Out in front of the courthouse, I guess. I'd put a lot of, like, mock staircases and stuff so they could have some real Dread Pirate Robert scenes.
Put in a zip line so you could zip line between 2 objects.
Yes.
While you're...
I've watched a few sword fighting, I don't know, videos on
a chandelier to swing from,
Yeah, definitely the Chandeliers. On YouTube, I've watched a few of them that talk about historical medieval sword fights. And sword fights, much like gunfights in nowadays terms, didn't last that long. It was 2 or 3 swings and someone was dead. So,
Yeah, it wasn't as pretty as the movies make it. You know, they're little.
No.
It was usually very hard swings,
Yeah.
and whoever left the gap open first, you died.
Yeah. Eventually.
They weren't looking to scratch you or
No. They weren't poking shoulders.
No insulting maim to the shirt. You know?
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Aha, I cut you. What do you think about that?
Oh,
No, that's not what they were going for.
I scarred your face. Now you are ugly.
There was also kicking involved and elbowing and whatever they could sneak in.
Hostages.
That too.
Defiling of suckling ducks. I don't know. I don't know what happened back then. I'm not a... I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that. I don't even know where to go with this one.
Todd doesn't know what he is today.
Not today. Bessemer, Michigan. Have you heard about this? And they voted to spend $3,400 for training and the use and the device known as the Nasal Ranger.
Is that the one where they're tracking the marijuana?
Yeah, that's the marijuana one. Did you actually?
Yeah, because their towns.
Yeah, they got a stinky town. They legalized the recreational use of marijuana in December of 2018.
And growth.
Yeah, you can grow them, but there's like a set limit, and apparently the whole town reeks of the sticky icky. And they've purchased Nasal Ranger that looks like a telescope that you stick to your nose. Yeah,
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it literally is like this large object that you put up to your nose. And I have no idea the function of this. I would probably get some dogs.
From what I briefly read the article, from what I understand, it sounded like it was a device that just measured the concentration so they could get an idea where it was coming from. I didn't know it was a...
The picture they showed in the article, it was literally some kind of weird device that you put in your nose. I have no idea why. Okay, I have no idea.
No, okay, that sounds stupid now.
It does. That's why I'm talking about it. If it was just like some kind of regular old concentration sniffer, that's not news. It's news if it's dumb. I think we've established that over 21 episodes now. That is what we go for. This is dumb, therefore I'm talking about it. That is called, its trademark name is actually the Nasal Ranger. Okay, this isn't like E-32 Series BV2. This is the Nasal Ranger from Hasbro. Okay, Hasbro probably didn't make it, but...
It sounds like they might have.
The Nasal Ranger, we're going... I don't know what's wrong with their dogs.
We should probably not talk about Hasbro. They're like, how dare you insinuate we would name something that stupid?
Yeah, no kidding. You guys bought Death Row Records. Come on.
Indeed they did.
Still waiting for my Tupac Biggie Smalls beef side campaign for Dungeons and Dragons to be released. There it is.
Oh my goodness.
Now that Hasbro owns all 3 of those things.
I had I won't name names, but I had someone who's only ever played 5th edition D&D start like trying to talk to me about D&D and they were just like, well, you don't understand. I was like, dude, all right, who originally owned Dungeons and Dragons? And they just looked at me like, what do you mean? I was like, don't talk to me.
Was it not always Wizards of the Coast? I started at 3.
No, it wasn't always Wizard of the Coast. Originally, it was TSR.
That's right, TSR. I knew that. What am I talking about? Everybody knows that.
And then they were bought by Wizards of the Coast, who were bought by Hasbro.
Yep. Well, that's settled.
It was just like, dude, you don't
I don't
you
know when
haven't
they
even
came out with like 4 and those like random. I don't know what those points were called. I just quit playing. The
started
game
playing
just
back
wasn't
in
even fun.
second edition.
Man, man,
Way back in the day.
back then. I don't
Back
know.
when Todd used to walk to school in the snow, barefoot, both ways uphill.
No, grew up in California. No snow.
Damn it. Never mind.
Yep.
Never always try to, make your struggle sound real.
Oh, there's no struggle. I grew up in paradise. I'm just
And now you live
struggling
in
now.
misery.
Yeah, I'm struggling now. But no, my childhood was great. It was just a life of leisure. Prepared me for nothing. No, that's. I'm just kidding, Mom and Dad. You guys were great.
I was just to point out, remember, your folks do watch this show.
They do. They do. And yeah. Let's just scrap this episode now that I'm thinking about it. I've already talked about way too much. Between Pornhub and weed and watching shows about, I don't know. Yeah,
And how your parents prepared you for nothing.
thanks for rubbing it in.
You're welcome.
That's terrible. Yeah. Goodness gracious. It's your
Great
turn.
balls
I'm going
of
to
fire.
shut up for a while.
Oh my god. Did you hear about the 2 YouTubers in Australia who got arrested for scuba driving?
Scuba driving?
Yep, they modified a Ford Laser, I think is what it's called, so that it could be filled with water. They were driving around on I guess, record-breaking hot day or something like that,
Yeah?
and completely immersed in water. They were wearing goggles and, of course, breathers.
Right?
And apparently they got cited for multiple violations, driving offenses, including driving in a reckless or dangerous manner, driving an unregistered vehicle, and failing to wear a seatbelt.
Oh, okay. I was actually really hoping that Australia had an actual law against this. That it was like operating a vehicle completely filled with water. You know, I was hoping that they had that law. I was just like, Australia thinks of everything.
Apparently, their excuse for doing it, other than just getting views, was that their car didn't have an air conditioner in it. I'm like, well, this is obviously not your regular driving vehicle because it wasn't registered, unless you regularly drive unregistered.
We live in Missouri. That's a regular thing here.
That's true.
It's like, why register it? I don't even have a license or insurance. Why even worry about registering my car?
That's fair.
It's like, why don't you have those things? And he goes, well, you know, after your third DUI, they kind of take all those things from you.
That's a true story, especially around here.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to picture the Ford Laser. If I remember correctly, that is the international version of the not the Escort, not it's somewhere in between the Escort. There was a model between the Escort and the Taurus. I don't remember what it is, but I think that's what that is.
The Probe?
No. Maybe. But how did you come up with that so quick? They haven't made the Probe in like a million years.
I had a friend who owned one.
Oh, okay.
And we... Never mind, I'll leave that joke for later.
That's great. No, but I mean, I don't know. I would pick a different vehicle. Maybe an Astro van would be pretty cool, filled with water.
Not to mention, I mean, obviously you got the problems of sealing up the car so all the water stays contained within the cab. But you have to make sure it's still drivable and things function.
Yeah.
So you didn't have money to get your air conditioning fixed, but you had money to modify this car so that you could fill it with water.
Have you not heard of flex tape?
It'll be more than flex tape.
No. No.
Because the steering wheel still got to function, and
Flex tape.
not to mention all the electrical stuff you got to protect.
Flex seal. There's so many flex products that they could have been used in this. Oh my goodness. Ooh.
Now I wonder how they got in and out of the car. Maybe sunroof? They don't show a picture at the top, but it looks like maybe they just cut a big hole in the top of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's definitely not their daily driver. I feel like that would really wreck the suspension, that much water. I don't remember what the water to weight distribution is, but that sounds like a lot. I know I have trouble carrying 5-gallon buckets of water.
I'm trying to remember
Many years ago.
It did mention that
No.
I thought I'd mentioned that it was under that the people who witnessed it were concerned because they said that it was severely suspension of the leaking sedan clearly struggled with the weight of the water.
Looked like the wheels were like out like that probably.
As it drove to a drive-in liquor store.
Drive-in liquor store. That's where I'd go. For sure.
You're just going to have them toss it into the water? The bottles? Just throw it in? I mean,
yeah.
Where are you going to put it?
I don't know.
Unless you got the trunk sealed so that the water's not going into the trunk.
Yes, maybe. Probably not. I'm going to say it was not that well thought out.
Hoping you're not paying with cash because
it's going to be a little soggy. All those Australian dollars. Boy, speaking of like money that's not worth anything, I wasn't actually going to talk about this, but there's a Russian journalist. Have you heard about this guy? Sorting through his childhood stuff, and he finds a painting he did at 6 years old of a man riding a mule or a horse. I can't tell. It was drawn by a 6-year-old. He's selling it for like the equivalent of like $4 million US. But like when they were talking about it in the article, it was like 160 million rubles or whatever the Russian money is. You know, the red bucks. You know, sickle cents. I don't know. Yeah. Well, he cites that it's technically, he views it as being worth twice as much as he's asking, and he says that it's like it's a painting directly from the mind of a child who lived in Soviet era Russia. Therefore, it's a very rare and unique piece of history, and that's why it's worth so much money. He almost had it sold, but apparently the buyer said, "Is the price negotiable?" And that just completely insulted the guy and said, "No, it's not." I'm sorry, if I ran across a picture that I drew when I was, 6 years old, and some guy was willing to actually give me somewhere in the millions ballpark, I would, yeah, the price is negotiable. Yeah, I'll go down as far as half. Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, if somebody walked by and said, "Hey, I'll give you $10 for that," I'm like, "Cool." I would take it, and he blows his nose with it. I don't know. But yeah, this guy is a journalist. He's not an actual artist of any known type at all. So I mean, there's that going as well. Yeah, it's not like you found, a doodle from Michelangelo when he was 2. You know, it's not that cool. And the picture itself really isn't that great either. I honestly would call it bad even if it was the album cover of an indie rock band. It's not even that good. I don't know if you're familiar with those scrawlings. Have you seen the indie folk bands especially? They have those really terrible, it looks like napkin drawings. Yeah, it's not even that good. Moving on to a real story though. Tom's Diner in Denver, Colorado. It is not it's probably known to the locals. They've been around for 20 years. The diner has Tom's Diner 20 some years. But apparently they've been charging 38 cents for stupid questions. Still mic slap. Yeah, there's some other really strange
I
charges.
think they're undercharging.
Yeah, they probably are, but I mean that might be per question.
I'd still charge more.
I've been through Denver. What constitutes as a stupid question there is a little bit beyond me because they're not. I don't know if it's known to be some kind of intellectual epicenter of Colorado or not, but I did not find in the 10 minutes I spent there at a gas station, I did not find them to be the most intelligent people I've ever met in my entire life. But I'm clearly not a good judge of intelligence. So I'm going to go on. There was another charge that they didn't even mention in the article that said walk home on the receipt. They charge nothing for your walk home, but it was on the receipt. But 38 cents, I don't know. That seems reasonable. Because I've gone to IHOP at non-breakfast hours on weekend nights, and if they charged 38 cents, I know a few friends who would have been bumming money for their coffee, their stupid questions that rattled out of their mouth.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I don't know. Other than that, that's about what's going on at Tom's Diner. I hope no one around here gets any ideas.
Oh my goodness. And way to alienate Denver.
Yeah.
As potential viewers.
Oh, potential viewers. No.
You're gonna have someone from Denver watching our show, and they're gonna be like, "Well, screw you guys."
No, if there was anybody from Colorado watching our show, they would have probably because of my views on marijuana in general. I think they probably would have just said, "Screw you guys." So,
Dave's not here, man.
Yeah. Look at that. He's got a couch over there behind him, and there's not even a guy on it. I don't know. Yeah, so. Yep. That's all Tom's Diner's got going on for us today.
All right, well. We got some news from Poland. Polish investigators fear a pig farmer, last seen on December 31st, may have been devoured by his own livestock after a neighbor discovered bones on the property. Lubin District Prosecutor Magdalena Serafin told a name I can't pronounce. It remains believed to be that a farmer who is said to be in his 70s was found 8 days after the man was last seen on his farm in Lubin, a town 260 miles west of Warsaw.
Oh, so he's alive.
No, he was last seen. They think he's dead.
Okay. I thought they thought he was dead and then he was seen. I was not following anything.
We do not know the exact date, but in the period between December 31st and January 8th, the victim was eaten by the pigs.
That's a bad way to go. I
wonder if maybe he fell down, had a heart attack, and the pigs were like, well, nom nom.
Well, looks like we're not going to get fed for a few days, boys.
Dig in.
Yeah. If
Uh,
we eat him, he will be with us always. Maybe it was an act of love.
See, it was not immediately clear how the man died. Officials suspect either a heart attack or a fall, but it was reportedly clear that the pigs fed on him.
You know, there's just a time to retire. There really is. There's a time where you just sell everything and retire.
I mean, I've heard of worse. I don't know.
He
Just as
died
bad.
doing what he loved,
It
getting
was
eaten by pigs.
I don't remember if it was the 90s or the 80s. I remember there was a story in the newspaper about a man who had a heart attack and fell into his fireplace. And he was not dead when he fell in.
Well,
He was
remember the
having the heart
story you were
attack and he
talking
fell
about where the guy fell into a lava tube in his backyard?
in. Yeah.
You know, it's stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. Could just be fine one day and then next day eaten by pigs. Or in a lava tube or
But that had to
cooking
be
in your
a
fireplace.
terrible way to go. Tending your fireplace and you have a heart attack and fall into it.
Yeah.
No.
Not
No,
the
thank
way
you.
I'd want to go.
In my sleep, just like my father did. Die in my sleep. That's how I want to go. Peaceful. Just go to sleep, never wake up. There you go.
I don't know.
Or would you rather go out in a blaze of sour grapes? And just...
You mean alcohol poisoning? No, that's horrible.
just like, steps in front of a bus that's moving so fast, Todd just explodes. Todd felt nothing.
I was
Just
trying to think of
exploded.
something real cool, but no, I can't. I just don't want to go. Okay.
I don't want to go.
I'm not ready.
I'm about to be visited.
I haven't even grown up yet. Hey, cat or cat? I really thought I could waste more time on these, but I don't have anything else. That's the rough part about this.
Episode.
Well, no, you read a story, and you're just like, how can I make this interesting? And you read it, and it's just like, oh, this is extremely interesting to me. But then when you actually verbalize it out loud, it's like, this actually kind of sucks. We can't talk about this, but we already have. Well, moving on. And then you do that a few times, and there's no more. Speaking of no more, what do you think about the I don't know, Prince Harry, and I don't even know her name.
You mean what we talked about last week?
Did we talk about him? Yeah, we did talk about him. I don't know.
'Cause,
There's
yeah.
new news. The Canadians or whatever prime minister guy, apparently he can't afford money for Canadian veterans, but I guess he can attempt to pay. I don't know if that's just non, I don't know, not unfounded bias against their whatever he is. I don't know. I don't know. Is it a president? What do they have over there in Canada?
Prime
Yeah.
Minister?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't care either. It's Canada, for God's sakes. I mean, they're like, I think the current world record for confirmed kill from a sniper is actually a Canadian. But if it's the same guy I'm thinking of, he was in like the 4th Battalion of Princess Patricia's whatever. And it's like, I'm not really feeling how hardcore your Disney Princess Brigade is.
Well, apparently he has the record for the most kills as a
No,
sniper.
it's just the longest, not the most.
Oh.
How could they have the most? There's no absolute way Canada could have the most anything when it comes to combat. Except for like longest, I could see that. But as far as like most kills, they rarely leave. They're like, we'd love to help, but nah.
We got to play hockey.
Yeah, their best war deterrent is living above the United States. It's like, nobody's going to attack us. The U.S. is down there pissing everybody off. They don't care about Canada. We don't even exist.
Cold up here.
Yeah.
That's why no one wants to go up there. Like, It's cold up there.
Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, I don't wanna burst anybody's bubble, but apparently there's a new Star Wars rumor that Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc pit.
No, that's not a rumor. That actually happened in the books.
All right. Well, the books aren't canon, so that's not me. That's Disney.
But
That's
but
Disney said that.
but he did die in other horrible ways. So
No, it's not a rumor. That's not a rumor. I love how we. I love. I don't know. I love Star Wars. I shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, Todd.
Shouldn't be that militant about it. What were we talking about, Canada? Oh yeah,
Blame Canada.
Prime Minister or whatever is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for them to hang out there in Canada. I don't know. Kill Canadian. That was funny. The Drugs Inc. We used to watch that a lot. In the previous occupation, we spent more time watching TV than actually working, and that was fine with me. But Drugs Inc. did a episode on ketamine, and the majority of it was in Canada. And interestingly enough, about that episode is they gave absolutely no reason in the world why anybody should not do ketamine. There was one dude who had like his bladder ruptured as a direct result of doing ketamine, but he was doing like 50 grams a day. I mean, just an insane amount.
Yeah.
And everybody else in the show is just like, yeah, I have no will to do anything, but like the psychological effects of ketamine, sure, that's bad, but physically, it apparently can do no harm. According to that show. Now, I've talked to other people who are like, oh no, I've had friends who have died from it. I'm just like, okay.
Were they taking the same amounts as the guy with the ruptures?
You'd have to, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. Everybody's different. Of course, here in the U.S., according to the news I like to read, drug dealers like to inflate their drugs with all sorts of different things. Like, if heroin's not good enough, I've got this heroin with fentanyl in it. You know, how I feel like drug culture, drug dealers especially, use their business on repeat customers. Why would you kill them? You know, fentanyl kills. Like,
Well,
straight up
get,
kills.
You get dealers out there who actually don't know chemistry, and they're like, oh, I'll just add this to it, and that should give a better high. Or
how do you get your hands on enough fentanyl to decide that this is a good filler for heroin?
Like there was
I don't know.
I
I get lost on that one.
The 80s, the early 90s, I think, that there was weed going around that they had sprayed with WD-40.
Why would you spray it with WD-40?
Apparently, it was giving an extra high. Some people were passing out from it. They literally take like one or two hits and black out. And then there were other people whose noses started bleeding shortly, or their sinuses started bleeding, or their throats started bleeding.
Oh, weird. Wait
Yeah,
a minute.
it was.
I'm trying to find more to actually talk about, but I'm on Reddit. You have more?
Story.
Okay.
I do.
I will skip this 84-year-old porn star granny enjoying life article then.
Please do.
I'm going to. I'm not. Yeah, that's what that look was earlier, like seconds ago, and I'm like, no.
Still not talking about it.
No Billy Madison moments on this show.
Yeah. Police investigating a burglary. A burglary at a tobacco shop in Northern California last month had a key piece of evidence that helped them identify a suspect.
Was he under the age of 21?
Video of the man falling through the ceiling. The Sonora Police Department wrote on Facebook the incident happened on December 22nd when officers received a call for a burglary alarm sounding at a business just after 6 a.m. Officers arriving at the scene found no signs of forced entry from the exterior of the building, but eventually discovered a man-sized hole in the ceiling.
So he actually like cut through the roof.
It sounded like he was crawling around up there and he fell through it.
Oh, okay.
The suspect and a purported accomplice actually bored a hole through the ceiling from a vacant building that was above the business and probably spent a couple hours doing so, but they broke to the business. Hold on. After they examined the hole that led to an empty space upstairs, officials said the investigation revealed that the forced entry of the business downstairs was made through a rear door. But the suspect, later identified as Storm Coral, had made it only to the back room of the business before he tripped an alarm. He then tried to run back up through the hole in the space upstairs, but a surveillance caught him falling from the ceiling into the storage room during his rushed escape.
Wow. What do you think they were actually there to steal? I just, well, I don't know. Like, granted, if you steal something, anything you sell it for is going to be profit, but it just seems like tobacco products would be kind of bulky.
He only got away because, he triggered the alarm and was trying to escape.
Yeah.
With a bag of rolling tobacco and 2 energy drinks, which he snatched from the back room while triggering thousands of dollars worth of damage in the mess he left behind.
Okay.
They were
Hold
able
on,
to identify the suspect after reviewing their surveillance video and receiving tips from the community.
California actually has a law, though. Now, granted, the damage is like probably is pretty aggressive, but it's like $900 and something or something. You could actually steal. He's gonna get charged with the breaking and entering, but as far as like the theft part, he's not even going to get charged with that.
Because he didn't steal enough.
He didn't steal enough. He could have walked out of there with, safely $800 worth of tobacco products and not been charged for it. He really did not make good use of his time there.
If he hadn't tried to get into that other room and set the alarm off.
Yeah, I mean, what was he trying to accomplish?
No idea.
I don't know. What an idiot. He's got to use the laws. He should have just walked in there and stole the stuff in broad daylight. And then just ran out and just ran until he was done running. I mean, otherwise he wouldn't have even been charged. If you just run into a business, just grab everything off the shelves and just take off running in California, you're fine. You don't go breaking and entering like you're the anti-Batman. And Batman is the only person I could think of. I'm sure there's some sneaky.
He's not even a criminal
criminals.
Batman would mess with. He'd just leave him for the cops.
It's just like, eh.
He wouldn't even send Robin after him. He'd just be like, no, the cops can catch that guy.
He wouldn't even send Alfred after him.
Dude, Alfred's badass.
Yeah, I know. I actually hear there's going to be an Alfred movie.
Oh, God, I hope so.
Yeah.
If they do it right, that'd be a good movie.
Speaking of Michael Caine, because in my mind, Michael Caine is the only Alfred in existence. I recently watched The Eagle Has Landed as of last night with Michael Caine and Robert Duvall and Donald Sutherland.
Oh, how was it?
Oh, made in 1977. Amazing movie. They all play Nazis. It's like, remember that time Robert Duvall was a Nazi? Like, Donald Sutherland, I could kind of see that. He always plays kind of a bad guy-ish. Not always, but he's always a kind of a creepy character. But like Michael Caine was also a Nazi. And I'm like, who made this movie and who actually cast these guys? It was an amazing movie. It's about
Did he ditch the Cockney accent?
kind of hard to tell. It was kind of hard watching Robert Duvall, yeah, try with the German accent. But
It was like all I could think of is Sean Connery in Red October playing the Russian sub commander. It's like still with a Scottish accent.
he's just, I mean, both cultures just choke on their tongue the entire time they're talking. So to me, I couldn't see a difference. You know, I couldn't see a difference. But no, it's a movie about Adolf Hitler saying we need to kidnap Winston Churchill, and as dumb as that sounds, it was a really really good movie. They almost pulled it off in the movie. I don't think it's based on anything real, but if it was, that's awesome.
There was a documentary I watched one time, and it talked about ideas that they had come up with to try and thwart Hitler. And one of the ideas that they addressed at the table where they were discussing these ideas was to sneak female hormones, into his food to try and make him more emotional.
Oh, you want Adolf Hitler more emotional? Genius idea. It's almost as good as their assassination attempts of Fidel Castro with the exploding conch shells.
Yeah, they even tried to kill Fidel Castro with an exploding cigar. Didn't work. They did kill one of his assistants.
Didn't they ever watch Groucho Marx? That doesn't work. It just gets laughs. It's like the exploding. I don't know.
Not the assistant.
That's all I had. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, they were gonna try to, make him emotionally unstable, and I was like, he was already emotionally unstable.
Already killing millions of Jews because he's emotionally unstable. Who else are you trying to get rid of?
And I'm like, what if he starts growing boobs? All of a sudden, he's gonna stop killing Jews?
No.
No.
Look what the Jews did to Hitler. He's growing boobs. I can see that right now.
The only thing that's going to accomplish is Hitler would have stayed indoors a little longer.
Yeah, I don't know. Man. You got anything else today?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna have to really start digging for next week. Next week is going to be better. I swear. I swear I will find all the Pornhub lawsuits in existence right now and just go down the list from best to worst lawsuit of Pornhub.
Oh, my goodness.
I was just hoping that, like, as I started reading it, they're like, it has no closed captions. I was actually hoping that it was like he was blaming Pornhub because being on Pornhub made him deaf. But that was not the case. I'm like, I thought that stuff made you go blind.
That's what I was gonna say.
But deaf, I can go with that. And as I started reading, I'm like, oh, he's just so happy. Well, that's New Yorkers for you. Anyway, that's enough for the Verbal Nonsense podcast today. I am Todd.
I'm Joel.
And please like and subscribe. Share with your friends if you found anything worth listening to today. Congratulations. You get a brownie button. And if you have any deep desire to get in touch with either one of us, links on how to do so will be in the description. Also, check out our Facebook page where we every once in a while conversate or
And
something.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm tripping all over everything today. But that's it for today's show. All right. You have nothing more to say?
Nope.
Well, that's it for Verbal Nonsense. Have a good weekend.